Top rated book on Amazon is The Mental Handbook. You want the physical book? This one right here for free. Click the link below and let's get to work on your game.
DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? Dre Baldwin with DreAllDay.com. Hope all of you are doing fantastic. This message out here, this message that I'm putting out right here is for all you basketball players, up and coming players, aspiring high school, college, professional players who are running into the issue of your loved ones or your guardians, most of the time your parents, your mom, your dad, your grandma, aunt, uncle, not supporting your dreams of being a basketball player. And actually, it doesn't matter what sport you play. If you play hockey, baseball, golf, you're a swimmer, shot put, race walking, whatever sport you in, you can just swap out the word basketball and put your sport in for what I'm going to share with you here. Because I'm going to share with you exactly what you will do if and when your parents don't support your goals of being an athlete. Now, this is not about if you got a cousin who's hating on you or uncle who's like, well, I tried to make the NBA and I ain't make it, or some dude around the corner or somebody else in your family who maybe they're trying to discourage you or talking down on you. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about your actual parents, like the people you live with, the people who pay for your food, clothing, shelter, telling you, yo, you can't play ball or you can't go try out for the team or you're not allowed to go outside to the court. I'm talking about that situation. So if you're facing that situation, and I know many of you are because I get a lot of messages over the last 10 years that I've been on YouTube. I've gotten a lot of messages from players asking this specific question. I've made videos about this before. I got a post on my website. Is at DreAllDay.com/help. DreAllDay.com/help. If I remember, I'm going to put that link up at the top of the screen. But if I don't remember, just go to that link. DreAllDay.com/help. That's where I cover everything about basketball, guides, tips, on the court, off the court, and outside of basketball stuff for everybody out there on my website, DreAllDay.com. But this video here, I want to be a little bit more, more hands-on. I'm going to give you some step-by-step, like an actual script of what you're going to say to your parents so that you can get what you want. And what you want is for your parents to not maybe go do things for you, but just get out the way so you can go do your thing. Because all of you know the bottom line of all of this is that if you are not dedicated, you don't show up, you don't work on your game, you don't handle things in a professional manner, even though you might not be getting anywhere close to getting paid for this yet. If you don't handle things like that and be disciplined about it and be thorough in your work, like look like you serious about it, then none of this is going to matter. You need to be serious about what you want to do, because even if your parents decide, all right, we're going to let you do your thing, that doesn't mean they got to go and come to every game. Doesn't mean they got to drive you to the park all the time. Doesn't even mean they got to put any money into it. Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to get into that in a second. But this is all on you. I want to make sure all you players understand that despite what I'm about to tell you, if you get the support of your parents after what I tell you, and I think this is going to help a whole lot of you, once you get it, it's still on you, 100%. If you don't show up and do what you're supposed to do, none of this matters anyway. So now that I said that twice, let's get right into it. So you got a parent, let's say your mom, your dad, for whatever reason is unsupportive of you being a basketball player. They don't believe you can make it as a basketball player. They don't see the possibilities of that ever happening. They know the statistics that less than 1% of athletes ever make it to college, let alone make it to the pros to play in any sport, or 3%, whatever, a small number. Y'all get the point of what I'm saying. They know that school is has a much higher success rate, and they are actually right. School that has a higher success rate, going to school is a higher success rate than playing a sport professionally. All right, whatever you want to say about school, and we know school in many ways can be a lot of things negative you can say about going to school. College, especially the one that you're paying for, but school has a higher success rate than playing basketball, has a higher success rate than any other professional sport too. You're more likely to be successful just doing well in school than you are trying to make it and make money playing a sport. That's just the bottom line. Your parents know that. They don't know much about sports. Maybe they don't think you're serious. Maybe they don't take the sport serious. Maybe they had a bad experience of their own. Whatever reason, they're not supporting you playing your sport. You ask them, they say, no, you can't do this, can't do that. You can't join that team. You can't go to the park. You can't go work on your game. I'm not buying you a basketball. I'm not buying you the new Derrick Rose sneakers. I'm not buying you the Chef Currys. I'm not getting you no ball sneaks, nothing. They just won't support you whatsoever, and you feel is getting in the way of you doing your thing. This is what you do. All right, now with all that done, this is what you do. You are going to have a conversation with your parent or parents, and this is what we call a heart-to-heart conversation. For those of you who don't know what a heart-to-heart conversation is, you can Google it, but I'm going to just give you an overall overview of what it means. It means you having it's what we call real conversation, but some of you youngins call real talk or real rap, and older people call it that too. real conversation where it's no bullshit. It's not a surface conversation. It's you really telling your parents how you feel, and hopefully you get them to reciprocate and tell you how they feel, so y'all can get to the bottom and get everything out on the table, get everything out in the open, so y'all can get to the bottom of what actually the issue is. Because usually it's not. I don't think any of your parents hates the game of basketball. I don't think they hate the idea of you going to play basketball. It's something bigger than that. It's something deeper than that. You understand? In life, when people tell you things that you don't agree with, usually James Altucher is a guy who said this. He said, "There's a good reason, then there's the real reason." All right, the good reason is what people put out on the surface, what we tell everybody else. The good reason you can't play basketball because school is more important. The good reason is you got to get your grades right. The good reason is you got to get yourself an academic scholarship to go to college. The good reason is you got to get your education because we know you can always fall back on education and school is not always going to work out. That's the good reason. What's the real reason? That's what you need to get to. The real reason is a little bit deeper than that, because obviously you know all the good reasons already. You don't need your parents to tell you everything I just said, do you? Absolutely not. So you know the good reasons. And people put good reasons out there because it sounds acceptable, it sounds normal enough, it doesn't draw too much attention, and it moves the conversation to something else. But the real reason is always a layer deeper, maybe 10 layers deeper. But the only way you can get to the real reason when you're talking to another person is you got to first of all be open yourself about where you are, and then they will reciprocate by being open with themselves. Nobody's going to open up to you if you don't open up to them, or at least think that you're opening up to them. So with your parents especially, this is an even trickier situation with parents, because I don't know if any of your parents are like my parents, but my parents they would give me a reason that was the good reason. I knew it was a much more real reason besides the good reason, but the way my parents raised me, it wasn't my place to say, hey, I know that's not the real reason, Mom. Tell me the real reason. Like, no, that wouldn't have worked. I'd have been on the floor. Or my dad, any of that. That wouldn't have worked. So you can't come that way, that direct to people. Like, you could talk to me, or I could talk to you, or you could talk to one of your homies, maybe even talk to one of your teachers, anybody other than your parents. All right. You got to talk to your parents a little bit differently. So you got to open up first, and hopefully, maybe they will open up. So this is what you're going to say. You're going to ask your parents this. You want to, first of all, let them know you want to have a conversation so they know the conversation is coming. And as that conversation begins, you'll tell your parents that you want to talk about this basketball thing or this baseball thing, but you want them to understand your point of view. Not I want to tell you my point of view. Not I want you to know why I should go play pro ball or why I should get to go to the park. None of that. This is what you're saying. I want you, parents, to understand my point of view. That's what you're going to tell them. I want you to understand my point of view. And that's going to catch their ear. They're going to be like, okay, you want me to understand your point of view? They're going to listen. You're their child. They're going to listen. Now what you're going to do is you're going to ask questions. This is super, super, super important, because this is not a soliloquy. All right, it's not like a YouTube video where I'm just doing all the talking and you listen. No. That's not how this one is going to work. What you're going to do, that's not what you're going to do. You're going to ask questions. The way to get another person to open up is you got to ask questions. You got to listen to what they're saying when they answer your questions, then ask the right question to follow up and follow up and follow up. Now, I can't tell you what your parents are going to say when you ask these questions, but I'm going to give you the questions that you're going to ask, because asking these questions usually is pretty similar responses you're going to get, and you'll see that in a second. But asking questions is a huge part of communication, not you doing all this talking. I don't care how smart, how great of a speaker you are. If you're doing all the talking, you're not a good communicator. You're not a good conversationalist, and you don't have good people skills. And I got a course called People Skills on my website at dreallday.com/people that will teach you that if you want to know what I know. But anyway, you're going to start asking questions. You're going to start by asking questions like this. Do you care about me? They're probably going to say yes. Do you love me? Yes. Do you want me to be happy? Yes. What matters most to you, Dad? When it comes to me, what matters most to you? Mom, when it comes to me, what matters most to you? Parents, grandma, when it comes to me, what matters most to you? What's the most important thing to you? Now, you see what that is? Let me explain to you why you're going to do it this way, because I want y'all to get the psychology behind this. And this is a very important conversation. That's why I'm going into detail here. The psychology behind you asking those first opening questions, those softball questions, do you love me? Do you care about me? Do you want to see me happy? The reason you ask those is why. What's the answer going to be to those questions? You're talking to your mom and your dad. I don't care how mean or stern they are. What's the answer going to be? The answer's going to be yes. All right, they're going to say yes. Yes, I love you. I care about you. You know, I want to see you happy. I want you to prosper. I want you to be successful. You can ask those. You want me to prosper? You want me to be successful? You want me to be happy in life? You want me to be a productive adult? Ask them these questions. All you're going to get is yes. Yes is the most powerful word in the human language. Yes and no are the two most powerful words. Yes is the most powerful. No is the second most. All right. Yes is the most powerful word. When you get people saying yes, it denotes what? You have agreement. You and that person are agreeing. You and that person are on the same page. If you ever in an argument with somebody, try to get them to say yes to something. Try to get them to agree to something you say. It can cease being an argument when you have agreement. You understand? Yes. Get them to say yes. And here's the other thing about getting people to say yes. It creates momentum. Momentum is when people start doing things one way, it's hard for them to stop and go the opposite direction. So when they're already saying yes, it makes it easier to say yes, 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 yes. Now, if somebody starts out by saying no, it's going to be very hard to turn that no into a yes. So you don't want to get people to say no if you're looking for agreement. You understand? So that's the psychology behind asking the opening softball questions, the yes or no questions, where they're all going to be yes. Okay, so now you got them on your side because they're saying you're asking the question, they're agreeing yes. So y'all on the same side. Okay, so it's not an opposition anymore, me against you, mom. No, it's we're on the same team because we both want the same thing: success, happiness. I love you. I care about you. I want you to do well. You understand? That's the first part of psychology. Here's the second part. You're going to ask an open question. Open question is a question where you ask and they can answer however they want. They're not confined to yes or no, or a day, or a name, or a place. Like, where are you from? How old are you? How tall are you? Those are closed questions. This is an open question. What's the most important thing to you? Let me see that again. What matters most to you? Same thing. When it comes to me, mom, when it comes to me, dad, what's the most important thing to you? That's an open question, but again, it's also a leading question because they're your mom, your dad. What do you think they're going to say? Your mom and your dad's going to say when you ask that question. It's going to be something along the lines of, I don't know your parents and I don't know you. Something along the lines of, I want you to be successful. I want you to be happy. I want you to do well. I want you to be able to take care of yourself. I want you to be a contributing member of society. I want you to be smart. I want to be proud of you as a parent. Something like that. We all can agree with that, right? Now they're going to give you that. They're going to tell you what's important to them. And now, once you ask that question, again, here's the psychology part. Now they have to think in their mind. They're thinking in their mind, what is it that I most want from my son or most want from my daughter? And now they're opening up. You see that? Now they're opening up. They are opening up to you by telling you what's the most important thing to them about you. So you're getting some very valuable information here. And whatever they say to answer this question, you need to be listening. Don't be thinking about what you're going to say next. Listen, because this is very important. Because what they say, you're going to use this as the conversation goes on. You're going to use this for the rest of your life, actually, because this is a very important answer, whatever they give you. So when they give you that answer and they tell you what's the most important thing, this is what you're going to say. If you care about me, if you really want to see me happy, you want to see me successful, if you really care about their answer to that open question, here's what I want to tell you. Here's what I want to tell you. Here's how I feel about your sport. Here's how I feel, mom, about playing basketball. Here's how I feel about playing football. And you're going to tell them how you really feel. I'm not going to tell you what to say here. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to role play this as if I'm you. All right, talking to a parent. I'm going to role play it in a minute, but I'm not going to tell you what to say here. You got to talk from the heart. Again, this is not a memorization. This is not a script. It is a script, but it's not a script. You understand? Stick to the script, but be yourself is the way I say it. So you're going to use these questions that I'm giving you, but you still got to be yourself at the same time. Don't sound like you're memorizing what Dre said on YouTube. No, that ain't going to work. They'll see right through it. All right, so you're going to say how you actually feel about your sport, what it means to you, why it matters to you to be able to go do that thing. And then you say, once you get done, you're going to say, listen, being able to do this, my sport, makes me happy. It makes me feel good. I'm a more productive person when I get to do this. Then you're going to tell them, all I want from you, mom, all I want from you, dad, because if you're having this conversation, you're probably somewhere in the age range of 14 to 18. I'm guessing those of you who have this challenge, you're somewhere in the 14 years to 18 year age range. Hopefully I'm right about that. So you're going to say, mom, dad, listen, all I need from you is to support me in playing this sport for the next 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, whatever the time frame is. Just support me. And by support me, I mean, this is you talking. By support me, I mean, when I want to go to the park, let me go to the park. Or if I need a ride to the game, give me a ride to the game. Or if I need you to fill out this permission slip so I can go try out for the team in high school, you sign the permission slip so I can go try out. All I need from you is, and you lay out what you need. Now, you know your situation. I don't know your situation. You lay out what you need. So do you need financial support? Do you need them to give their time? Do you need them to come to the game? Do you need them to give you a ride? Do you need them to sign something? What do you need? You got to be honest about this. Don't let there be any surprises 2 weeks from now. Don't say, all I need you to do is just be all right with me playing, and then 2 weeks later, like, yo, I need $250. No. You got to be clear up front. Now, if you don't know what's going to happen in the future, just say that. Listen, there are some things that are going to come up in the future. I don't know exactly what they're going to be, but I just want us to be on the same page. Very important point. I want us to be on the same page, so if and when something comes up, I know I can count on your support. That's what you're going to say to your parents. What else do I want to put in there? A year or two of support, 3 years of support, 4 years of support. Everybody follow what I just said. Now we're going to role play this. I'm going to be you, and you just listen. You be the parent. All right. Hey, mom, listen. Hey, mom, you got a minute? I want to have a conversation with you. I want you to, mom, you got a minute? I want to have a conversation. However you need to get your parents' attention. You know them better than I do. All right. Mom, I want to have a conversation with you real quick. You got a couple minutes. Great. Well, I just want you to understand my point of view on things. I know we've been having this conflict when it comes to me wanting to play basketball, wanting to try out for the team, and I know education is the most important thing, been the most important thing you've mentioned to me, but I want you to understand my point of view. Actually, don't say but, say and. I want you to understand my point of view, Mom. Can I ask you a question? Do you love me? Yes. Do you care about me? Yes. Do you want me to be happy? You want me to be successful? You want me to be a productive adult? Yes. Right. Can you tell me what's the most important thing to you? When it comes to me, what's the most important thing for you when it comes to your child, me, your son? She's going to tell you whatever she says. Okay. Now that she said that, you're going to say, since you care about me, since you love me, since you want me to be happy, since you want me to be, a great man that you're raising me to be, I want you to understand how I feel about basketball, because I know we've been having conflicts about it. Playing basketball is what I love. Playing basketball is fun for me. Playing basketball is how I've met all of my friends. Playing basketball is what makes me feel like a happy, successful, productive young man. Playing basketball is the way I can get my exercise. Playing basketball is what makes me able to sleep at night soundly, because I know I've done something that I feel good about, that I enjoy doing, that I like investing time into. That's how I feel about playing basketball. Now, this is the thing. Playing basketball is going to make me happy. I know playing basketball will make me feel good. I'll be a more productive child. I'll be better in school. And I know for you, the most important thing is that I get my education. I know it's very important to you that I have very high grades. I know it's important to you that I pass the SAT and get accepted into college. So I want to make you a deal. I want to make an offer to you. If I can maintain a 3.0 GPA, or I can get an A on my next 2 science tests, or you fill in the blank of what you're going to do to, you basically, this is a sidebar, mind you, you are going to take whatever it is, whatever reason your parents aren't letting you play the sport, they're not supporting, whatever reason they're giving for not supporting, you're going to make them an offer based on that reason. Usually, as far as I've heard from all of you, the reason has always had something to do with academics, most of the time. So you're going to say, I'm going to maintain this GPA, I'm going to get this grade on the test, I'm going to get this grade in that class, I'm going to bring my grade up to this by next marking period. You're going to do that. You must do it. If you don't do it, then you blew this whole thing and none of this matters. You must do that. You must hold up your end of the bargain. And then you're going to say, in exchange for me doing that, all I want from you is to support me. And when I say support me, that means fill in the blank. What do they need to do to support you? Let you go do something, pay a certain amount of money, show up somewhere, give you a ride. What do they need to do to actually support you? And you need to be as clear and open and honest about this as possible. You tell them what they need to do to support you. If it just is just leave me alone and let me do my thing, then say that. If it's I need you to invest $1,000 a month, let them know. I need you to go buy all these programs off hoophandbook.com from this dude Dre all day on YouTube. Let them know. What is it that you need as support? Be clear. And then be quiet. All I need in exchange for me keeping my GPA up to this number, all I need from you is to support me by driving me to the games once a week, signing this permission slip so I can try out for the team. And then, as long as I keep my grades up, you don't have a problem with me playing basketball. Is that okay? You don't even have to ask if it's okay. You just say you don't have a problem with me playing basketball. Shut up. Is this fine? You can ask, is this fine? Is this good? Is this something we can agree on? Is that fair? Is this reasonable? They're probably going to say yes. I'm assuming they're going to say yes. If you say it the right way, if you say it from your heart, if you make them a real offer based on what's important to them for you, usually academics, or if it's something else, then make the offer based on that. If you do all these things, you will get agreement. You will get what you want. Now, I can't ask for questions because we're not live streaming here, but let me recap everything that I just said. So you're going to start out. Parents are not supporting you. Have a heart-to-heart conversation. Speak from the heart. Don't speak from a script. Don't speak from memorizing what I said. Speak from the heart. Speak how you talk. Talk how you talk to your parents. You know that. I don't know that. You know it. Talk how you talk to your parents. Ask your parents for their time. They're always going to give you time. They want to have a conversation. Listen, because if they're stopping you from playing a sport, obviously they're paying attention to what you're doing. So they're going to give you the time of day if you ask for a conversation. I want you to understand my point of view. Ask the opening softball questions to get them to say yes, yes, yes. Get them saying yes. Then ask them, what's the most important thing to you? They're going to say it. Then you're going to share from your heart what playing that sport means to you, why it matters to you, why it's important to you. Then you're going to tell them, in exchange for me doing the thing that's most important to them, whatever reason they're giving you for not playing the sport, in exchange for me doing that at a high level, whatever that is, grades up, better scores on the tests, not getting in trouble at school, not getting in trouble in the street, whatever it is, in exchange for me doing this, all I need you to do is support me. And by support me, I mean, what does that mean? If you want them to support you, be specific. What do they got to do to support you? Is that fair? Is that okay? Is that reasonable? Is that something we can agree to? They're going to say yes. Guaranteed. Now, once you get your support from your parents, now you know what you got to do? Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. What could you not do with more confidence? Less attention to the negativity of other people, more focus on your goals than nothing else, and not letting unfortunate circumstances slow you down. Would all of those help you out? Well, go to DreAllDay.com/bulletproof. Check out my new 8-week course called Bulletproof Mindset. Get started, and I'll see you over there. Work on your game. If you're on Snapchat, hit me on the Snap. My Snap name is @Dre Baldwin. You already know how that works. And I got a podcast, if you didn't know. It is called Work on Your Game. It is an everyday podcast where I talk about getting yourself into the right mindset, that bulletproof mindset. Getting yourself seen, heard, known. Getting the exposure you want and making things happen in your life instead of waiting for things to happen to or for you. Subscribe to that podcast when you're on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Make sure you check it every single day. Make sure you're subscribed so you catch the heat. Work on your game. Dre Ball. I feel like Dre Ball. I feel like Dre Ball. I'm ballin'. I feel like Dre